Hello students, today we are going to read the third chapter, Discovering Tut. The saga continues by A.R. Williams from Hornbill Class 11. This chapter, written by A.R. Williams, is about the last heir of the powerful pharaoh dynasty, Tutankhamun, who died when he was a teenager after ruling for 9 years. He died in a mysterious way. This chapter throws light over all the possible mysteries, the curse where his tomb lies, his life and untimely death. Egyptians believed that there is life after death, and that is the reason why the pharaohs were buried with the wealth and everyday use items. Now, let us begin with the reading of the chapter. He was just a teenager when he died. The last heir means successor of a powerful family that had ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid to rest laden means loaded, with gold and eventually forgotten. Since the discovery of his tomb in 1922, the modern world has speculated, means formed a theory without evidence about what happened to him, with murder being the most extreme possibility. Now, leaving his tomb for the first time in almost 80 years, Tut has undergone a CT scan that offers new clues about his life and death and provides precise data for an accurate forensic reconstruction of the boyish pharaoh. Pharaoh is ruler in ancient Egypt. Forensic reconstruction means the process of recreating the face of an individual. Precise means accurate. So Tutankhamun, who was also known as Tut, was a teenager when he died. He was the last successor of his powerful pharaoh dynasty, which ruled Egypt and its empire for centuries. He was laid on rest, heavily loaded with gold. His tomb was discovered in 1922, which made the world raise a question about what had happened to him and whether he had been murdered. After almost 80 years, his body was about to undergo a CT scan which would give new information and clues about his life and death. His face would be recreated with the help of a procedure called forensic reconstruction. An angry wind stirred up ghostly dust devils as King Tut was taken from his resting place in the ancient Egyptian cemetery known as the Valley of the Kings. So, a strong dusty wind, it was blowing when King Tut was taken from his ancient resting place known as the Valley of the Kings. It is a place near Luxor in southern Egypt. It is a place where many Egyptian kings were buried. That is why it is called the Valley of Kings. Dark-bellied clouds. Dark-bellied clouds means the clouds containing rain. They were dark in color, had scudded across. Scudded across means they moved quickly because of the wind across the desert sky all day, and now were wearing the stars in casket grey. It was 6 p.m. on 5th January 2005. The world's most famous mummy glided headfirst into a CT scanner brought here to probe the lingering medical mysteries of this little understood young ruler who died more than 3,300 years ago. So, a fast, strange, and unnatural wind was blowing as King Tut's body was taken from his grave called Valley of the Kings. Dark clouds moved quickly across the desert all day long, and later they covered the stars. On January 5th, 2005 at 6 p.m., King Tut's mummy, which is the world's most famous mummy, was placed in the CT scanner to investigate the mystery behind his death, which had occurred more than 3,300 years ago. All afternoon, the usual line of tourists from around the world had descended into the cramped rock-cut tomb some 26 feet underground to pay their respects. They gazed at the murals on the walls of the burial chamber and peered at Tut's gilded face, the most striking feature of his mummy-shaped outer coffin lid. Some visitors read from guidebooks in a whisper, others stood silently, perhaps pondering Tut's untimely death in his late teens, or wondering with a shiver if the Pharaoh's curse, and what was that curse? Death or misfortune falling upon those who disturbed him. So they were wondering whether this Pharaoh's curse was really true. So all afternoon, tourists they visited the 26 feet deep underground rock-cut tomb to pay respect to the king. Many people stuffed into the small tomb and looked in admiration at the murals on the walls of the chamber and took a look at the face of Tut that had been painted with gold. While visitors read the guidebooks in a hushed tone, in a whisper tone, very silently, some stood silently, wondering about his untimely death in his teen years. They might also be wondering if the curse of the Pharaoh, which leads to the descent of misfortune upon the person who disturbs him, is true. So they were all pondering upon this with a shiver whether this curse was true or not. And what was the curse? The falling of death or misfortune upon those who disturbed the king. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did in the 1920s, said Zahi Hawass, who was the Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he leaned over the body for a long first look. Carter, Howard Carter, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Futile means pointless, useless searching. It contains, though hastily ransacked. Hastily means quickly. Ransacked means they were gone through in antiquity. Antiquity means in ancient times were surprisingly complete. So the contents of the tomb, they were very quickly raided in ancient times, but it was a surprise to everyone that the things were complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the pharaoh's legend. Legend means the story. Stunning artifacts means the beautiful items which are found in the tomb. So these stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance means their timeless luster and shine, meant to guarantee resurrection, means it guaranteed resurrection, means restoration to life. It caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife. Afterlife means life after death. It is based on the belief that the essential part of an individual's identity continues to the next life after the death of the physical body. So King Tut was buried with his everyday things which he could require in the next birth, afterlife, board games, a bronze razor, linen, undergarments, cases of food and wine. So in this paragraph, Zahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt, he leaned over the body to have a look. He said that the mummy was in a very bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did to it in the 1920s. He discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 after a futile search. The valuable treasures of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were complete. The treasure found at the Tut's grave is the richest till date and has come to be known as the Pharaoh's legend. It has artifacts in gold which are eternally beautiful and as good as new. Such artifacts still get attention. Tut was buried with things of daily use like a razor made of bronze, games, linen undergarments, and boxes of food and wine which he could use in the next life. After months of recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. So, funerary treasure, it means the gold items that were kept while burying the king because of the belief that there was an afterlife. So, when he investigated those funerary treasures for months, he began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow. So when he opened the first coffin, he found a shroud. Shroud is a cloth that is wrapped around a dead body, and it was adorned, it was decorated with garlands of willow and olive leaves. Garlands of willow here means the wreath of flowers and leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers, which were the faded evidence of a burial in March or April. Means it suggested that he had been buried in the months of March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, The ritual raisins. Raisin is a sticky substance that is insoluble in water, and ritual means the customary thing. So that had hardened, cementing Tut to the bottom of his solid gold coffin, and no amount of legitimate means reasonable, considerable force could move them. Then Carter wrote what was to be done. So when Carter reached the third coffin, he was in trouble. The body had hardened due to the raisin, which had cemented the body, and it had stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. Carter wondered what to do next because no amount of force could separate the two. The sun can beat down like hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the raisin. So in South Egypt, the sun was very hot, and he tried to use that heat to loosen the raisin. For several hours, he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine. Blazing means very hot. That heated it up to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing budged. Nothing budged means not a slight movement was made in it. He reported with scientific detachment, means indifference towards science, that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away, means to cut with a chisel from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. So Carter first he tried to loosen the raisin by keeping the body in the hot sun. He kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit heat for several hours, but still it remained stuck. He reported that a chisel could be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk so that the Tut's body could be taken out of the coffin. In his defense, Carter really had little choice. If he hadn't cut the mummy free, thieves most certainly would have circumvented. Circumvented means they would have found a way to tackle the guards and remove the gold from the tomb. So they would have circumvented the guards and ripped it apart to remove the gold. In Tut's time, the royals were fabulously wealthy, and they thought or hoped they could take their riches with them. So during the rule of this king, or during the time of this king, the royal people, they were extremely wealthy, and they thought and also hoped that they could take their wealth with them to their next birth. For his journey to the great beyond, King Tut was lavished with glittering goods. So for King Tut's journey also to the great beyond means after death, he was also lavished with glittering goods. Glittering means shining. He was lavished means he was also decorated with this. What were they? Precious collars, inlaid necklaces and bracelets, rings, amulets, a ceremonial apron, sandals, sheaths for his fingers and toes, and now the iconic inner coffin and mask, all of pure gold. To separate Tut from his adornments, from his ornaments, Carter's men removed the mummy's head and severed nearly every major joint. Severed means they had separated every major joint. Once they had finished, they reassembled the remains on a layer of sand in a wooden box with padding that concealed, that hid the damage, the bed where Tut now rests. So in this paragraph, what we read, that according to Carter, when he had he was left with no choice than to cut the mummy. Why? Because he believed that if he hadn't done that, thieves would have removed the gold from the tomb and would have looted it. During Tut's time, the royal people, they were wealthy, and they had a belief that after death they could take the wealth along with them. So for his life after death, King Tut was also given precious collars, necklaces with decorative patterns, bracelets, rings, amulets, ceremonial aprons, sandals, sheaths for fingers and toes, and now an iconic coffin and a mask. His men means the Carter's men, they removed his head and every joint of his body. After they finished, they reassembled the remains in a remains of King Tut's body in a wooden box with padding filled with the layer of sand to conceal, to hide the damage, and it was his new resting place. Means uh, I mean the coffin in which he was buried, now he was put in a different box. Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades. Substantially means to a great extent. Intervening means the time between the events when the mummy was discovered and after that. So, archaeology, it has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on the fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. So now it focus more on details of life and intriguing means which arouse curiosity, the mysteries of death. Before that, it focused more on treasure, the things that were found with uh, the body, or you can say when excavation was done, the things, the remains of any period that was found. So their main focus was on that thing, but now they focus on life and the mysteries that are associated with the death. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy is a branch of science which deals with the bodily structure of humans, animals, or other living beings. So, anatomy professor, he x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling, a surprising fact. What he revealed? He revealed that beneath the resin, I told you, the sticky substance that cakes his chest, his breastbone and front ribs are missing. So, in 1968, an anatomy professor, he x-rayed King Tut's mummy and he revealed that the front limbs and the breastbone were missing. Today, diagnostic imaging means the images that identifies the nature of illness, can be done with computed tomography or CT, by which hundreds of x-rays in cross section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. Virtual body means three-dimensional body that is created by CT scan. What more would a CT scan reveal of Tut than the X-ray? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? This is very important. Many times it is asked in the exams also. The two biggest questions that are still lingering about King Tut, and they are: how did he die and how old was he at the time of his death? King Tut's demise, means his death, was a big event even by royal standards. He was the last of his family's line, and his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. Death rattle means end of a dynasty, but the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. So, now with the advancement of technology, CT scan can give a virtual image of the whole body, and with the help of this technology, King Tut's body would be scanned to find answers to two questions: how he died and how old was he at the time of his death. His death was a shock to the royals also, as he was the last person of his family, and his funeral indicated the diminishment of his dynasty. However, what happened after his death is still not clear. Now coming to this paragraph, which tells us about the family line of King Tut. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. So, Tut's father or grandfather, Amenhotep III, he was a very powerful pharaoh who ruled over a period of 40 years. When the dynasty was at the height of its success, his son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and initiated one of the strangest spirits in the history of ancient Egypt. The new pharaoh promoted the worship of the Aten, the sun disk, changed his name to Akhenaten or servant of the Aten. So Akhenaten means servant of the Aten, and Aten is sun disk. And what further changes he brought? He moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten, now known as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images and closing his temples. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson, a director of the University of Chicago's Research Center in Luxor, the site of ancient Thebes. The family that had ruled for centuries was coming to an end. And then Akhenaten went a little wacky. Little wacky means eccentric or irrational. So here in this paragraph, what we read, that Tut's father or grandfather, Amenhotep III, he was a very powerful pharaoh who ruled over a period of 40 years. His son Amenhotep IV succeeded him and began the strangest period in the history of Egypt. He promoted the worship of Aten, that is the sun disk, and also changed his name to Akhenaten, which means servant of the Aten. He also shifted the religious capital from Thebes to the new city of Akhetaten called Amarna. Further, he attacked Amun, a god, smashed his images and closed his temples. Ray Johnson, director of the University of Chicago, said that it must have been a bad time for the empire, as the family who ruled for centuries came to an end and Akhenaten moved in an odd direction. Now, after Akhenaten's death, a mysterious ruler named Samenkhare appeared briefly and exited with hardly a trace. So, another mysterious ruler, Samenkhare, he succeeded Akhenaten and died soon. And then a very young Tutankhaten took the throne, King Tut as he is widely known today. The boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun, living image of Amun, and oversaw a restoration of the old ways. Oversaw means he managed the restoration of the old ways. Restoration means return to original condition. He reigned for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. So, King Tut, he sat on the throne and ruled for 9 years. He worshipped god Amun in the old ways, and he died mysteriously after ruling for 9 years. Regardless of his fame and the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. How many, no one knows. So, he is one of the mummies in Egypt, and where as until now nobody knows that how many are there, but the Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory means listing, it began to list the mummies in late 2003. It recorded almost 600 so far and is still counting. So this project, which started in 2003, it recorded almost 600 mummies till date, and it is still counting. The next phase, scanning the mummies with a portable CT machine donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens, its manufacturer. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. So King Tut's mummy was the first one to be scanned by CT, under next phase of scanning the mummies with the machine that was donated by the National Geographic Society and Siemens. And it was one of the first mummies which was even in death as in life, it moved regally ahead of his countrymen. Means it always remained, it was the first one to be there in the, I mean, when he was a king at that time, also he was ahead of everybody, and in death also it remained ahead, means it was the first one to be CT scanned. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. Tut's head scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures. Intricate means complex structures. Takes an airy detail. Airy detail means strange images of Tut's head. So airy, strange detail in the resulting image, the image that was recorded. With Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics and anatomy began to investigate the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. So here, as I said, the resulting image was very strange. The team of radiology, forensics and anatomy experts, they started examining the secrets of the grave that had been protected by the flying goddesses for a long time. Means a winged goddess, she was protecting the shrine of King Tut for a very long time. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box like pallbearers. Pallbearers are the person who help to escort a coffin at a funeral. They climbed a ramp and a flight of stairs into a swirling means twisting, sand outside, then rose on a hydraulic lift. Hydraulic lift, it's a lift that uses a machine to lift or move heavy objects with the pressure into the trailer that held the scanner. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted, means they ran at a high speed, for an office nearby and returned with a pair of white plastic fans. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Curse of the Pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. So during the night of the scanning, workmen, they climbed up on the ramp and the flight of stairs to carry the body from the tomb to the spinning sand outside. If you remember, here it says climb up on the ramp and the flight of stairs. So if you remember why this flight of stairs, because the tomb was 26 feet underground. So to come out, there was a flight of stairs. So these workmen, they climbed up on that ramp and also the flight of stairs and carried the body from the tomb into the spinning sand outside. Spinning sand outside, if you remember at the beginning of the chapter, we read that it was on 5th January 2005 at 6 p.m. when the body was being taken out for the scanning. Dark clouds, they had been floating in the sky all day, and there was, angry wind, it stirred. So that is what it is saying, that the spinning sand was outside there, and these workmen, they rose the body onto a hydraulic lift, then into a trailer where the scanner was kept. After 20 minutes, two men ran towards the office nearby to bring two fans. Why two fans were needed? Because the scanner was not working, as the sand had entered a cooler fan. So the guard who was there, he joked that it was because of the curse of the Pharaoh, that and what was the curse of the Pharaoh? Because they disturbed the mummy, they disturbed the King Tut's body, and they had removed his body. So that is why these problems were being faced. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure. After checking that no data had been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workmen, who carried him back to his tomb. Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the pharaoh again rested in peace where the funerary priest had laid him so long ago. Funerary priest had laid him so long ago means he was back into the cemetery, the Valley of the Kings, where he was buried 3,300 years ago. So what we read, that once the fans they worked, the procedure was finished, the data was checked in the case of any losses, and then technicians they returned the body to the pallbearers who carried him back to his tomb. And in less than 3 hours, the whole process took less than 3 hours. The King Tut was again resting at the same place where the priest had laid him many years ago. Now, back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing, amazing images of Tut on a computer screen. A grey head took shape of from a scattering. Scattering means spreading irregularly of pixels. Pixels is a single point in a graphic image. So, took a shape from scattering of pixels, and the technician spun. Spun means turned around, and tilted it means they tilted, they turned around the images in every direction. Neck vertebra appeared as clearly as in an anatomy class where you study about the body structure. So the way it appears in that anatomy class means you can see all the bones and other things of the body. In the same way, the neck vertebra was very clearly visible. Other images revealed a hand, several views of the rib cage, and the transection of the skull. But for now, the pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass smiled, visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. I didn't sleep last night, not for a second, he said. I was so worried, but now I think I will go and sleep. So, after putting the King Tut's body back to its resting place, in the trailer, the technician they showed a beautiful image of Tut on computer screen. He showed the grey head which was scattered in pixels, and he spun it around. Next, the vertebra, hand, rib cage, and transection of his skull were shown. As the work was done, the pressure was finally off from the shoulders of Zahi Hawass. While sitting in his chair, he smiled and said that he was relieved that nothing went wrong, and he had not slept the previous night, and now as the work was done, he would go and sleep. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, the wind had stopped. The winter air lay cold and still, like death itself in this valley of the departed. Just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris. The soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. So, by the time these people they left the trailer after seeing all the images that were taken in the CT scan, the wind had stopped, and the air it was like death itself. And just above the tomb, the Orion constellation, it shone in the night sky, watching over the boy king, means watching or guarding the King Tut's body. So this was all about him, King Tut, or discovering Tut. The saga continues. The saga continues mean till today also. Many investigations are being made about him, and the saga means the story. So this story of him it still continues. People they still are investigating his mummy and trying to find out the reason how he was how he died and how old was he at the time of his death. So some says that because of some illness he died, and at that time there was no medication for that illness, so he succumbed to his illness and he died. I mean, now the things have been revealed, the reasons have been revealed about his death. So this was all about King Tut. Now coming to understanding the text, give reasons for the following. King Tut's body has been subjected to repeated scrutiny. Scrutiny means investigation. Yes, it has been subjected to repeated scrutiny. Why? Because of his history, his treasures, which was buried with him, and to know the reason behind his death. Second says Howard Carter's investigation was resented. Why it was resented? Because of his unscientific methods to cut off his body from the tomb, and he also focused more on Tut's wealth and less on to solve the mystery of Tut's life and death. Then Carter had to chisel away the solidified raisins to raise the king's remains. Yes, because the body was cemented to the bottom of the solid gold coffin as the raisins had hardened, and no force could move the body away, and keeping the body in the sun under 149 degrees Fahrenheit also did not help. Now Tut's body was buried along with the gilded treasures. Because ancient Egyptian royals, they were extremely wealthy, and they also believed that the royalty would take all the treasures with them in their afterlife. The boy king changed his name to Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun means living image of Amun, and Amun was the major god of ancient Egypt. Amenhotep III, he smashed and closed his temples. Later, Tut restored his temples and beliefs back in his empire, and that is why he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun, to choose his belief in the god. Now next question says that list the deeds that led Ray Johnson to describe Akhenaten as wacky. So the following reasons are that he smashed and closed Amun's images, he worshipped Aten, that is the sun disk, he moved the religious capital from the city of the Thebes to the new city of Akhenaten called Amarna, and also he changed his name to Akhenaten. Now next question says that what were the results of the CT scan? Results were astonishing, and gray head appeared and his vertebra were also shown, and all the things like hand, rib cage, skull, they were shown very clearly. Now the list the advances in technology. What is the advancement that is made in technology? It is more accurate way to determine the cause of a crime, like the x-rays, the CT scan, the post-mortem, biopsy and autopsy, which are now possible. And the advances is that they now focus more on life and the mysteries of death and less on treasure. Now explain the statement King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned in death as in life. Of course, he was the first one to be x-rayed in 1968 and later in 2005, and scanned through CT, which revealed its three-dimensional images of his body, which answered many questions. So obviously in life he was ahead in life, and in death also he was the first one to be scanned. Now talking about the text, I think these questions like discuss in group, scientific intervention is necessary to unearth buried mysteries, then advanced technologies gives us conclusive evidence of past events, traditions, rituals and funerary practices must be respected, knowledge about the past is useful to complete a knowledge of the world we live in. Try to answer them yourself, try to give your own viewpoint about all these things, and also try to do the other questions. If you face any problem, you can ask me in the group. So that's all for this chapter. Thank you.